Episode 2, the first ball. The memory was carved into Daniel's mind like a painting. He was 10 years old when the knock came at the door. His mother, tired from a long day cleaning offices, opened it. On the other side stood an old neighbor, a kind man who worked at the recycling yard. In his hand, he held a football. At least, it used to be a football. The white leather panels were scuffed and scratched. The stitches bulged where they had been repaired too many times. It had lost its shine, its perfect roundness. To anyone else, it was a ball at the end of its life. But when the man smiled and said, "Here, I thought your boy might want this," Daniel's heart stopped. He stepped forward slowly, his small hands reaching out as though he were being handed a crown. The moment the ball touched his palms, he felt its weight. Real weight. Not a sock tied with string. Not a crumpled bottle he used to kick against the wall. A real ball. He didn't say thank you right away. He just stared, his wide brown eyes reflecting the ball's faded surface. When words finally came, they were whispered, "I'll take care of it." That night, Daniel refused to let go. His little brother teased him, laughing, "Are you going to marry that ball?" But Daniel only grinned, hugging it close. He placed it beside his thin mattress on the floor, close enough that he could touch it in his sleep. Before he closed his eyes, he whispered, "One day, you'll take me out of here." From then on, the ball became an extension of him. On the way to school, he dribbled it down narrow alleys, balancing it on his knees and head as shopkeepers shouted at him not to knock over the goods. He bounced it off walls, chased it across puddles, and slipped it between gaps barely wide enough for a bicycle tire. At recess, other kids begged to play with it, but Daniel rarely shared. Not because he was selfish, but because the ball wasn't just a toy. It was his lifeline. Letting it out of his hands felt like giving away his future. Even when he went to the market to help his mother carry groceries, the ball came along. He would balance it on his foot while waiting, weaving it through the legs of fruit stands until angry vendors chased him away. And at home, while his father collapsed after long shifts at the factory, Daniel would quietly juggle the ball in the corner of the room. Tap, 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 the soft rhythm echoing off the peeling walls. His mother sighed, sometimes annoyed by the constant sound, but deep down she was glad. At least he was safe, away from the streets where other boys his age were already drifting into trouble. But the ball also brought challenges. Daniel's shoes, already falling apart, couldn't keep up. Within weeks, holes appeared in the soles. His toes poked through the fabric. His father shook his head when he saw, "We can't keep buying shoes, Daniel. You'll have to make do." So Daniel did. He tied cloth around his feet with string, creating makeshift wrappings that barely held together. Some days he played barefoot, ignoring the sting of sharp stones cutting into his skin. Pain became part of training. The other children noticed. "There goes Daniel and his ball," they would say, half mocking, half admiring, as he darted through the alleys. "He thinks he's going to be famous." Daniel heard them, but he didn't answer. He couldn't explain to them that it wasn't about fame. It wasn't even about money. It was about escape. Every time the ball rolled beneath his feet, he felt the heavy chains of his reality loosen. And in those moments, he was free. Still, freedom was temporary. At dinner, when there was barely enough food to share, his father would mutter, "Dreams don't put food on the table." His mother added softly, "Study first, football later." Daniel would nod respectfully, but in his heart, he knew the truth. Studying had never lit a fire in him. Football did. Late at night, after everyone was asleep, he would whisper his secret to the ball, "You and me. We're going to make it out. Just you wait." He didn't know how. He didn't know when. But Daniel believed. And sometimes, belief is all a dreamer has. This was the first chapter in his story. The boy with nothing now had something, a ball. But what he didn't realize was that the journey had only just begun. Because having a ball wasn't enough. To be noticed, to be taken seriously, he would have to show the world what he could do with it. And soon, the empty streets at night wouldn't be enough for Daniel Costa. Because the world beyond those cracked alleys was waiting, and it was far harsher than he could imagine. To be continued in episode 3, Nights Under the Streetlights. The main theme of the text revolves around a young boy's aspiration and connection to football as a means of escape from his challenging reality, highlighting the importance of dreams and determination in overcoming life struggles.